boo thing. I don't give a hoot what you say, girl. I know. Tell him I'm next. Tell him I'm next. I'm next. And next. I'm next. That boo thing is good. Has anybody? I mean, that might be the song of the century so far. That's like when Happy came out. Pharrell. I don't know what artists to push anymore because I don't know who is really directly involved in the freak offs. There's like a TikTok trend going on now where people are just rocking out to like classical music because none of the current state of pop music is safe to rock out to. So I'm just jumping on board with that. I think Boo Thing is good, but I don't know who the Boo Thing guy is, and I'm not entirely sure. What's up to Robin, Sarah? Good to be here. Rhonda, the whole live crew, Aussie Annie, good to see that we're still reaching the other side of the world in Australia, mountaintops. Hello. Welcome, everybody. Will, always a great welcome. Always a nice, warm welcome from Will. I love seeing his hello messages. Good to have you here with us, Will. We got lots to talk about on this episode, including the fact that Diddy's trial is set. And the prosecution hinted that there may be a couple more things to throw on top of the old pile there. Maybe a few more issues as we'll lay out everything that happened in the courtroom during Diddy's latest hearing. Plus an update on Lieutenant Dan, this guy. The Clinton anniversary is pretty shocking. Speaking of shocking, JD Vance still refusing to answer the 2020 question, and we got an Elon robot to discuss all that and more. My friends, roll it up. It is a podcast burrito. Didn't I say it would never? You little boo thing. Tell him I'm next. Tell him I'm something and next and no. I thought I wouldn't do the podcast burrito thing. It's slipping. It keeps coming back in there. It just keeps slipping back in there. I apologize. Let's jump into I hate when people say, let's dive right in and jump right in. Oh my God. 0 for 2, Ant. You are 0 for 2. Diddy had a court appearance yesterday. Here's everything that we know went on. He appeared in court coming straight from the old Brooklyn Detention Center there in a cream-colored suit. He wasn't handcuffed, but he was shackled. His ankles were shackled together. I got to be honest with you. I mean, he's 50, whatever. I'm going to be 42 relatively soon. I don't know if I can walk in shackles. I don't know what happens to your balance after 40, but it just disappears. It's just gone. Where you used to be totally fine, you could lean over, you could stand on one foot. Now, totally sober at 10 o'clock in the morning, if I took one of those field sobriety tests, I'm not sure I would make it. Police officer would be like, are you drunk? I'd be like, no, I'm 42. I'm sorry. I don't, I'm 42 and also white. So coordination, balance, rhythm, you name it. I never really had those to begin with. And I had 42 on top of that. And that's why I'm struggling to pass this field sobriety test. I promise you I haven't been drinking. But anyway, he's got a new judge too. Let's welcome Judge Aaron Sabranian. Aaron spelled Arun. Sabranian spelled Subramanian. Sabranian. I'll never get it. I hope he recuses himself. So I'm going to be honest with you. I needed Judge Bill Johnson, Riley Smith, Phil, Jacobs. That's what I need. I can't. Sabramian. He's a Sabramaniac. That's what I know. Anyway, he scheduled Diddy's trial for May 5th. The prosecution expects the government's case will take about 3 weeks to lay out. Diddy's legal team estimated needing 1 week to argue the rapper's defense. I feel like they need 400 weeks because I don't know if 1 week is enough. The U.S. Attorney's Office also noted the investigation is ongoing and pointed to the possibility of a superseding indictment, which could lengthen the trial. So if they add another charge, another indictment, that could expound on the 3 weeks that they were talking about needing. Also, feels like 3 weeks to make that kind of a case isn't really quite long enough. Now, I'm assuming they're going to go to court all 5 days of the weeks, which kind of almost never happens. Usually it's like 4 days. Sometimes it's only down to 3. But they went to both sides, prosecution and defense. Lawyers have to have their calendars cleared. They checked with Diddy. He'll be in prison. He's got time. But they both said they had some time, April and May, and they decided on May 5th to be the start of the court case. Combs' family, in case you're curious, did attend the Manhattan courthouse where the hearing took place on Thursday. Diddy's mother, Janice Combs, arrived in an SUV about an hour before the hearing was set. She was escorted into the courthouse by a woman and a security guard. Diddy's children, twins Jesse and Delilah, daughter Chance, and sons Christian, Justin, and Quincy were also present for the hearing. Diddy arrived in court, like I said, wearing a tan prison shirt and pants. He wasn't handcuffed. He was ankle shackled, which is even hard for me to say, let alone actually do. Supposedly, as reported by the press who was there, he looked around the room briefly before sharing a laugh and a smile with his attorneys while waiting for the judge to come in the room. I don't know about you, but that pisses me off. Why is he laughing? Why is he having a good time? I mean, he is an entertainer, right? So he knows about showmanship. Is he putting on a show there for everybody? You'd think he'd be scared shitless. I mean, it's not like there's a jury in the room yet, I don't know was he doing that for his family? I'm not entirely sure. I don't think I've ever smiled in a court, even when I'm like just there for jury duty. And it's not my fault at all. I'm like, Jesus, I gotta get the fuck out of here. This isn't fun or funny or anything. I've never smiled over there. After the hearing, Diddy turned around and faced his family. He waved, blew kisses, and bowed in praise. His daughter blew him kisses back. Judge Subramanian thanked Diddy's family for attending the status conference. The family then remained in the courtroom as the press were escorted out. Diddy's legal team is expected to receive the discovery material within the next 30 days. We were talking about that on the last episode, that they started the process of delivering that material over. They think they're going to have it all in the next 30 days. According to the prosecution, the government seized a total of 96 devices from Combs during raids of his homes, 9 at the airport, 36 in Miami, and 51 in Los Angeles. Authorities also seized Combs' phone during the September 16th arrest and conducted a search of his hotel room in Manhattan where he was staying at the time. The U.S. Attorney's Office expects the device downloads to be completed by next week, but noted discovery will continue through December. So there's still more that could be added to that pile of evidence that is stacking up against Combs. He'll remain in the Metropolitan Detention Center in Brooklyn. He's no longer requesting to move unless there is an issue with reviewing discovery. Ahead of Thursday's status conference, Diddy did request to go to trial in April or May in a letter submitted to the judge, who is expected to preside over the case moving forward. Prosecutors said that they are available those 2 months, but didn't specify when for the trial, but now we know it's going to be May 5th. In a joint letter submitted ahead of Thursday's hearing, the prosecution revealed the process of turning over evidence to Diddy's legal team had begun. The U.S. Attorney's Office had turned over search warrants and the musician's phone, along with iCloud reports. So just reports, not all the evidence. The prosecution is also in the process of copying information off 40 additional electronic devices seized during the March raids on Diddy's home. Diddy's team filed for his third attempt at bail on Tuesday after Judge Andrew L. Carter Jr. recused himself from the case. Carter Jr. had denied Diddy's second attempt at bail, citing the possibility that Diddy would tamper with the witnesses. The judge conceded the prosecution had proven by clear and convincing evidence that there is no condition or set of conditions to secure community safety. Indeed, hardly a risk of flight. He is a 54-year-old father of 7, a U.S. citizen, and an extraordinary successful artist, businessman, and philanthropist, one of the most recognizable people on earth, his lawyers argued in the latest filing. But again, to no avail on this one. I think he's going to stay. I don't think he's going to get denied. I don't think he's going to get bail because the judge is right. He let him out, and who knows? I mean, unless they want to let him out to catch him threatening somebody. But I mean, there's all sorts of ways he can threaten people, and and possibly, you know, help get himself off of this whole thing. So that remains to be seen. But I think it's a solid move from the judge. Keep him in prison, you know, keep his visits to just family only, and you know, you go from there. It's certainly going to be a long time. I mean, what is it? It's October 11th. He's got to wait till May 5th, so he's going to spend a decent amount of time there. It's going to be rough on the holidays. You know, those first Christmases, New Year's Eves. I don't think Diddy's Jewish. I think I don't know if he's I don't know if he's Catholic, but I'm assuming Christmas. Oh, by the way, happy Juan Kicker to my Jewish brethren. This is the Jewish holiday where they celebrate by kicking people named John for some reason. I don't know. I'm not here to judge, but if that's your thing, you know, religious freedom, I'm all about it. So, to the Juans out there, I'm sorry, but Juan Kicker is going strong with my Jewish brethren, and congratulations to all of you. Try not to kick so hard is all I'm saying. Try not to kick so hard. What is that? Oh, Yom Kippur. Oh, I spelled that wrong. Let me fix that. Yom Kippur. Do you know what that means? Is this the one where they get the jelly donuts? Let me know when they get the one with the jelly donuts, because I'm going to convert to Judaism right before that, because I am fucking starving. Anyway, the other big issue with the Diddy court case is the Diddy lawyers are accusing the government of unlawful government leaks. They said the Department of Homeland Security agents provided false and prejudicial statements to various press outlets over the last 7 months following the raids on his homes, where his sons were handcuffed and manhandled by federal agents armed with assault rifles. Diddy accused the officials of leaking the 2016 surveillance video from the Intercontinental Hotel to CNN, which shows Combe assaulting his then girlfriend, Cassie Ventura. It's funny because in a lot of the articles that I read today in preparation for the show, they were like, the video allegedly shows Sean Combs assault, and I'm like, allegedly? I mean, it's right. There's no alleged. It's fucking right there. I mean, you could see him beating the piss out of her. You know, that poor girl. You know, it was almost like he was Jewish and she was, named Juan. I mean, that's how bad it was at the time. Anything for bringing it back? No, still not funny. Okay. Anyway. I don't see the point of saying allegedly there. I mean, everybody can see the video. If you have two eyes, there's no alleged, there's no alleged. Oh, Christine, bless your little heart. Look at you. Hope your family in Florida are okay, Aunt. Yes, thank you. I had a number of people reach out to me. My mother and father were they're in the middle of the state. So I was pretty sure that they were going to be okay. I certainly would have been far more worried if they were on either of the coasts, which I know a lot of people were, and those storm surges were really bad. I believe 16 people is where the death toll is right now for Hurricane Milton. So certainly sad. Pause for a moment to, think about those poor victims. It's tragic, to have a hurricane wipe out lives. But 16 people, unfortunately, passed. Fortunately for me, my parents are A-OK. They made it through the storm with little or no issues. They had a little damage to the home, some shingles and some of the caps on their the roof got torn off. So minor things. Their life, though, perfectly fine. Look at that. Moderators, can we ban the unruly people in the live chat? You act like you don't know your parents were a part of the hurricane home party. Yeah. Oh, look at this now. See, this is what happens when you don't ban people. They wind up on the show.
Hey, girl, let me just tell you something. This is the universe. I felt bad that I didn't do Wednesday. Wednesday was tough. We had Girl Scouts. Yes, I signed my door up for Girl Scouts. And it was just a whole shit show, right?
Mm-hmm.
I come on my computer right now. I got 12% battery.
Oh my goodness.
Okay, and my husband is using his computer for work, and he's also charging it at the same time. So I tried.
That's
But
okay.
I just feel like a failure.
You're here now, and that's all that matters. I like Christella's comment. The village is having a Diddy party. Let me tell you something. Every day is a fucking Diddy party down there. Okay, it's pure debauchery. You think like I don't know, spring break in Cancun or somewhere else in Miami is a wild spot. Those fucking retirees in the villages are having fucking freak offs every goddamn day.
Well, I know. Like everyone's like, "Oh, how's your parents?" I'm like, "They're fine. They're like planning their hurricane hump party." Let's be honest, okay? Did you ever? I'm just curious. Did you ever make a joke to your parents about that? Like, "Hey, I know what goes on over there." Like, do they know or no?
Oh yeah. No,
Oh,
they know. Yeah, they've seen this show. When we talked about what was the things on the cars, the colored
Mm.
when you clean yourself with, what do you call those things?
Right.
Loofahs?
Yes.
Yeah, they know all about that stuff. No, they told me. I told you. I've told the story. Like the first time that my wife and I went down there, they were like, we were like, we're gonna go for dinner, and they're like, okay, don't go to that bar.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
And you're like,
Yeah.
why? I was like, that's where it's going down, man. I was like, okay. And then sure enough, as Cuddles and I were walking by at the end of the night, after our dinner, it was a scene there. And you would love it. You would love it because it's all young women talking to old dudes.
Oh, yeah. See, I gotta go there.
You would clean up. You would be in paradise.
I have a perfect idea. The next time my husband has to go there for work, because he has to go to, Florida sometimes for work.
Yeah.
They have an office in Orlando, and I could kind of stay near. I'll pick a hotel near where your parents live and just spend the day there instead of spending it at Disney or Universal by myself.
You should. Yeah, you should. Disney's a waste of money. In the villages, you can pick up some funds,
I could definitely make money there.
Get one of them sugar daddies.
Definitely.
But that, I swear, like I mean this, like I didn't really see young men going after the older women. It was a lot more like just young 20-something-year-old girls and these 50-year-old guys that were just, that's what the whole thing, when I tell you, Janine, there was 10 of them.
Really?
Yes, like 10 pairs.
Seriously.
I swear to God. I swear. I'm not exaggerating. Like, I remember we saw like 4 or 5 like coming off like the first corner, and then you like go around it's like a wraparound bar, and it was just the same thing down the whole way. And it was also just older people too, but there was a lot of younger women in the mix.
Right.
That were there just by themselves. And you look at it and you go, how did you wind up here? Because I mean, when I tell you, they literally chose the middle of the state, which had nothing, just fucking nobody lived there. And then they just started building all this shit for the older people. So, you have to seek it out. You have to go there to, there's no other reason just to be. It wasn't like the amount of people that lived in that area before the villages, it was like 100. You know what I mean? So
right.
If you're 30 and you're there for a reason.
Mm.
And there's a lot of people that are just there. Like, people went down there just to start businesses. And it's smart too, because it's just like a ton of people that have extra money, so they, they're buying nicer sports cars, they're redoing their home. My parents must have painted their fucking kitchen 12 times in the fucking 8 years they've been down there.
Well, there's so many jizz stains.
There's a lot of jizz stains, yeah. There's a lot of jizz stains. You can't get a bottle of baby oil anywhere in any of the counties. I mean, there's no baby oil to be found anywhere. It's crazy.
Listen, one time I made a joke about baby oil in front of your father, and he gave me like this wink, and I was like, huh? I didn't get it because I was making a joke about like tanning, and he
Yeah. It's uncomfortable for everybody involved.
Oh, I just hit my neck. How did I do that? Like an idiot.
Oh. You okay?
Yeah. How did I do that? Oh God, I'm so dumb.
Let's say hi to Bird, who has a job interview tomorrow. Wishing you all the luck in the world. Need out of my current job so bad. Okay. Good luck, Bird. Got a Saturday interview? What are we up for? What are we hoping for here? Fill me in on some details. I want to know what's going on. I need a job where we can get like good stuff. Like, are we gonna get things? Like, it's nice to have cop friends because we get those fucking get out of jail free cards.
Right.
I want to know if like see, here we go. A salon and spa. There we go. Maybe we get some gift cards going. Is it one of the national places? Because that'd be great. I'd love to go in. I'd love to go into my local national spa chain and be like, Bird, because I know Bird. Told me to get a little off the top, save a 15%er.
Right.
Anyway, where were we? What were we talking about? Oh, Diddy. Yeah. So Diddy accused the government of leaking the CNN video, and the government said that they were never even in possession of that. It just went straight to CNN.
What CNN video?
The one where he was beating the piss out of the Cassie in the hotel.
Oh.
That got leaked to CNN somehow. CNN is not commenting on it. Obviously, they're going to protect their sources on how they got it.
Right.
But how's CNN not going to go to air with that? I mean, come on. That's gold,
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, we'll see.
We'll see. Bird is appreciative of all the luck and the cheering going on.
Bird.
And she says we can drop her name anytime. I'm just going to roll into any spa and be like, do you know Bird? Because Bird sent me here, just told me you take 15% off. Do you see this guy on TikTok where he goes in and I saw this guy, the clip I saw was he goes into a donut shop and he goes, hey, I'm here from the sample company. I'm here to pick up the samples. And, the employees are like, have no idea. And he's like, yeah, John, I think we spoke to John, And so this guy is just like, he's like, all right, let me write it down for the owners. And they like gave him a box of donuts and sent him on his way. And they're like, we'll check with the owner ahead of time, afterwards. And I'm like, this guy must be just rolling into places.
Yeah, really.
Claiming all this shit, getting free stuff, and then just walking out of the sample company. What kind of fucking bullshit is that?
Yeah, really. Come on. Sample this.
I went to the deli the other day and this woman came in from Optimum and she's like doing this whole pitch. And I literally said to her, I don't mean to fuck up your pitch. I go, I just need a turkey sandwich. Can I go ahead of you, please? Like you're taking, like the person back there making the turkey sandwich isn't making the high-speed internet, business account decisions. You know what I mean? Like, pick up the fucking phone. Like she was all dressed up in a suit and everything and the whole nine. I'm like, can I just get a turkey sandwich? And I'm like, you're not even gonna order anything. You're just rolling in here, fucking asking, like, get a coffee, get something. If you want to do that, get a salad, steal a salad.
Oh, whoa.
Yeah, I'm just saying. J Sebs, did you get caught up in the Lieutenant Dan controversy?
I still never saw anything about it. I heard about it, but I didn't I didn't dig deep because I had a big problem yesterday that I needed to take care of. So,
your husband?
No, surprisingly, not anything to do with him.
Oh, podcast worthy stuff or boring and it doesn't really matter.
I mean, well, that project I do with the NYPD for October 15th?
Yes.
Well, they only got shipped a certain amount of candles from the other people, so I had to fix that problem.
Oh.
And I had to get it there today. So it was a big problem.
Got it.
There was tears from me.
Oh no, you were crying?
Oh yeah, I was very upset.
Oh no.
So, yeah. So I'm lucky that I have the friends that I do. Not including you. But yes, including you. I'm just kidding.
Well, that'll lead us right into our read. As you know, October is
thank you.
Stillbirth Awareness Month. We've got a link in the description for this episode. We're raising funds. Many of you may not know this, but I had a dear friend of mine who lost her firstborn, stillbirth. Very important to me. JSAP's trying not to make jokes during this part of the show here. This is very important. Okay.
Oh, okay. You want me to make jokes?
It's very important to me. No. I want you to be quiet because this is a very serious topic, and I know how you get.
Go ahead. Talk about your friend. She's probably really funny and nice and all that.
Funny.
Well,
maybe. Anyway, the Star Legacy Foundation is a wonderful nonprofit organization dedicated to reducing pregnancy loss and neonatal death and improving care for families who experience such tragedies. It's a wonderful community of families, health professionals, researchers, policymakers, and individuals dedicated to helping every pregnancy have a happy ending. JSEBs, I bet you didn't know this. 21,000 annual stillbirths and additional neonatal deaths still happen in the United States every year. And did you know this? They are preventable.
Yes, I would say that at least between 80 to 90% are preventable. Yeah. And the stillbirth rate has not changed in 50 years. Did you know that?
Well, I knew that.
Okay.
I knew that.
Sorry.
I don't think you knew. I think you said you knew what I knew, but I don't think you really did.
Right.
Sit back and relax. You're going to learn a couple things here.
Okay.
Expecting parents should be informed about stillbirth risks and educated on ways to reduce any of the risks. Nobody ever is. I know that we weren't warned about that stuff when we decided to have 2 mistakes that ruined our lives. But it's important to have that education, and that's what the Star Legacy Foundation does. So if you can find it in your heart to donate, that would be tremendous. We raise money in the name of Diana Hope, who we do this all for. Link in the description below for this episode. We'll do this for the entire month of October. Again, as little as $5 will go a long way. Whatever you can give would be very much appreciated.
Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. So Lieutenant Dan and Hurricane Milton. So we found this guy. This guy kind of like captivated everybody. It's weird because he started popping up during Hurricane Helene, and then it led into Hurricane Milton. So on Wednesday, as the storm is hitting, we, made the announcement because the mayor of Tampa told us that they were able to get Lieutenant Dan off his boat because, according to Lieutenant Dan, God told him to get on a boat and be in Tampa, right on the water during Hurricane Helene or Milton. And, God told him to be there, whatever. And everybody was really concerned and worried about him. And obviously there's something wrong with him, clearly, and then so he kind of like captivated everybody. Somebody started a GoFundMe campaign for him. I think that got up to like 47 grand. Then the mayor comes up and goes, we were able to get Lieutenant Dan off the boat. And then as soon as the show ended on Wednesday, we found out that he escaped the place the shelter he was at, and went back on the boat.
Oh.
So supposedly he sat through the storm on the boat the whole time. I don't know how true that is. I mean, I've seen some people say that he did, but how are we to really know?
Right.
And then, of course, it all started. People started coming out and saying, this guy's got a violent past. He hit cops. He hit a woman. There was all this kind of crazy shit coming out about Lieutenant Dan. And I'm not surprised by that at all. I mean, the guy's tatted up like crazy. God's telling him to be on a boat in the middle of a fucking hurricane. Like, yeah, of course the guy's not, got a violent past. Like, nobody's surprised about any of that. Well, Today his daughter surfaced and she's all pissed off because she's like, you guys are going to kill my father. I don't know how doesn't seem like she's close to him at all, but she's like, all this attention is not good. And the money is not good for this guy,
Oh, really?
And, yeah. This other creator got together with Kick, which is like another one of the, streaming platforms. And they wanted to give him 100 grand and like a creator deal so that he would get paid for his views and everything like that. Well, they took that away a couple hours later when they found out all the stuff he's been in prison for.
Ooh.
Yeah, which is not. I mean, he's been in prison multiple times for, again, like I said, not great things. So the lieutenant, hold on a second. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm looking at 6 different mugshots of his.
6. Wow.
Yeah. 6.
So he could choose which one he wants to use. I like that.
Yeah.
At least he has options.
Yeah, that's basically it. But his daughter was like in tears and saying nobody really cares about him. You're using him to make him famous, to make you more famous, which is totally true. I mean, all those TikTokers and internet people, they do all these things to make it look like, we're helping somebody, but they're only just raising their own profiles. Not to say that they're not kind people, too. They are, but I don't know. It's always a little bit of usury, I feel like, in both directions. So that's really it. Lieutenant Dan launched his own TikTok account, so you can go there and find him. He currently has over 270,000 followers. So if you want to stay on the Lieutenant Dan bandwagon, you absolutely can. The amount of hate mail that we got, though, after they were like, stop putting this guy on, stop, raising his profile. I'm like, we're just talking about a fucking story. Leave me out of this. I had nothing to do with this. I don't know how much more we're going to be talking about Lieutenant Dan. Again, I would lie to you if I say I wasn't captivated by it. I mean, this psychopath is like, I'm going to stay in the harbor for the fucking, potentially worst hurricane to hit Florida in 100 years. Yeah, that's going to draw some interest in people. But, the 19 tornadoes, the damage in numerous counties, 125 homes destroyed, 16 people dead. Lieutenant Dan is still with us. So we'll see what comes of Lieutenant Dan. But I don't know how much more we're going to be talking about it. But I found it interesting that people, are jumping on board. And this kick thing, all you see these kick people. Remember the other guy who was I forget his name. Remember the douchebag guy we showed? He was out there trying to stop pedophiles, but he was only just making it worse. Remember he shaved the guy's head and everything. That weirdo guy. What was his name? Vitali or something? That fucking guy. He was on Kick. This whole Kick thing, everybody's trying to take down YouTube, and it's nearly impossible. The rise of TikTok, again, was a rarity because of the pandemic. It became this whole phenomenon. So there was that, but nobody is ever going to beat YouTube. I mean, even though there's all these other streamings out there, Rumble and all these other things now, Kick and everything else, nothing's going to beat YouTube. But this Kick, they got money behind them, and they keep throwing money at people just to get attention, to get people onto their platform. And this was the latest one that clearly blew right up and blew back up in their face. So they gave him the deal, and they rescinded it from him just hours later. So we'll see where Lieutenant Dan winds up, and if anybody cares about him, in a month from now. I don't know if it's Haktua girl seems to be hanging on. She seems to be doing okay with her podcast. I haven't listened to it. I have zero interest in anything like that, but I don't know. God bless her if she can make a career out of that one little tiny thing. I do want to talk about the Hillary Clinton, Bill Clinton anniversary. I found this to be bizarre. This was trending earlier today. Apparently, the Clintons have been married for 49 years. And Hillary tweeted this morning, "Isn't it funny how we've been married for 49 years, but still aren't a day over 30? Happy anniversary at Bill Clinton." And I guess that's a joke because of the photo that she posted is when they were 30. Not a good joke. For somebody who makes good jokes once every 4 or 5 weeks, I can tell you that that's not a good joke. Again, Hillary Clinton disappoints. But Bill had on his Twitter account a similar message, certainly a more modern photograph of the two of them. Take a look here as this loads up. Bill wrote, "Happy anniversary, Hillary. It's been an amazing 49 years. Here's to many more." And has a picture of the two of them in, I don't even know where this is, but big, beautiful blue sky, greenery right behind them. And I couldn't help but think, are these people not aware of their perception in the world?
Yeah, I know, man. Do you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I hear a big hum. You're not as clear as you were before.
I know, because
It's okay. We don't need a whole explanation. That's okay. You can go on your Clinton take. Give your Clinton take.
Computer died, so I'm on my phone, but it's not. I'm not going to be here for longer either.
It's okay. It's okay.
I still can't believe she never left him. If there was actual jizz proof on another girl's dress,
Yeah,
he would have been out. I'm sorry.
I mean, it's the most publicly embarrassing thing for her ever. And then you add on top of that all the Epstein bullshit that came with this asshole afterwards, all these years later. And they're still out there pretending like they have like this amazing marriage.
Yeah, I know.
What the fuck is wrong with these people?
I wonder what the deal was, why she stayed with him. Because it was definitely like, oh, I'll stay with you if you do this for me.
I think she stayed with him because it was her goal to be president.
Oh, you think? Okay.
100%. I think she thought he had such a great presidency from an economic standpoint, obviously because of the .com boom, right? It was the age of the internet. Everybody was investing in the .coms. Like the economy in the late 90s under Clinton was like massive, you know? So they were not wealthy by any stretch of the imagination going into the White House. They were very wealthy coming out of the White House. There was all sorts of deals and things on the table. And I thought that she thought to herself, if I lay low on this, I can make this happen. I could maneuver. I could become, and that's why they moved to New York. That's why she became a senator. She's got the name recognition. She won that easily. And then, you know, she tried to go the first time. The rise of Obama got in her way. She finagled. She made the deal to be, I forget what she was, secretary of whatever. And then her time came, and I think that she honestly thought, I mean, when she found out she was running against Donald Trump, she probably thought, this is a fucking layup. This is going to be the easiest thing ever. And of course, it was the biggest fucking thing to happen. She lost. But I think she thought that whole time with Hillary, I'm getting a really bad, is everybody hearing an echo?
Is that me?
Yeah.
I'll mute myself. Go ahead.
The whole time during the Lewinsky scandal and everything, I think she thought, I'm just going to stick around till I get my day, and I'm going to be the first female president of the United States. I feel like she thought that from day one. I don't know if she ever really loved that guy after the Monica Lewinsky stuff. I'm not entirely sure what that relationship dynamic was behind closed doors, but I just thought she was laser focused and had the eye on a prize. And I think her revenge was going to be, I will be a better president than him. I think that's entirely why she stuck around. For all the people that were like, what are you doing? You're an idiot. I think she thought, wait and see, give me 10 years and I'm going to be a better president than him. And of course, she gave us the first Donald Trump presidency just because of all her stupidity. But to be here like 49 years later and being like, oh, look, I don't know. You hear stories all the time about people who get divorced and get back together and all that kind of shit, and people who make mistakes. Maybe when you do get to their age, you don't give a shit anymore. Who knows? I'm not entirely sure. Maybe that's the case. But to publicly parade it around in front of people like there's not going to be a fucking reaction off of this is just ludicrous and insane. I mean, I saw this photo that Bill Clinton posted, and then 3 seconds later, I saw this photo that somebody photoshopped Monica Lewinsky on her knees next to Bill Clinton.
I'm sorry, I have to come here and just laugh at that because that is really funny. I'm sorry.
Right? I mean, I'm like, when I saw the first photo, I go, what are they doing? And then I scroll, and then there's this photo. And it's like, well, obviously, and thanks to the Daily Gripe for putting that one in there. I mean, I haven't scrolled more. I also think they turned off their comments because there's not a lot of comments on these where clearly there's been like a shit ton of views on these posts.
Oh, yeah.
But to just be like, look at our love. It's been an amazing 49 years. Has it been?
Yeah, it has not been amazing 49 years. Maybe 2 out of those 49 years.
Yeah. Because a lot of those 49 years were spent on an Epstein plane, you know?
Right.
At least a decent portion of those 49 years were spent with Monica Lewinsky underneath the Resolute desk, you know? So I'm not entirely, and plus there was the other one, the blonde one with the nose. There was tons of women, this fucking guy, you know?
All right, I'm gonna leave so there's no echo. But yeah, first of all, I can't believe they're married 49 years.
Yeah, it's a lot. But are they technically married still? Like, I could make the argument that they're kind of not.
Yeah, they definitely don't sleep together.
Yeah, DJ Shenanigans got it. That is one open relationship. Yeah, that's a wide open. It's a very, very open relationship.
Yeah, except she's getting more girls than him. Heyo.
You think she's a little lesy?
Yeah, that's the word that she is.
Oh, is that why they say she never really gave a shit?
Yep.
That's interesting. I never really heard that. That never really occurred to me.
Well, you heard it here.
Breaking news. Jay Sabs with a breaking news story. Who would have thought?
I don't know. All right, I'm going to go watch myself now on TV.
Okay, go ahead.
And see what my life should have been like.
Okay.
Bye.
There goes Jay Sabs with the breaking news story.
Breaking news.
Hillary might be a lessie. There you go.
Wait.
Never saw that coming.
I know why Janine knows. I know why Janine knows so many effed up people. I have a bunch of stories I need to tell you. Yeah, we need to go out. Me and Lindorilla. And you know what? I'm protecting a lot of people in here. I could really go balls to the wall. And on that note, bye.
All right, bye, Jay Sabs. There she goes. Jay Sabs, ladies and gentlemen. Christelle says, I do think they like each other on an intellectual level. I think you're right. I think that was part of the initial attraction 49 years ago. I think they had grand desires. I think they thought that they could make it to the White House. You know, I think she is such a determined woman that she thought I could take him to back in 70, whatever, nobody thought a woman could get elected. But I think she thought, well, if I can get him elected, then I can get myself there eventually. I think this plan of hers was in place from the get, which I admire, actually. I think that's wonderful to think that way, you know. It's just you can't fuck over so many people on the way. And just the body count and the Epstein stuff and everything. It's like, just go away. You've got money. Be rich. Go enjoy your lives. Stay the fuck off TikTok and Twitter. People are still like want to interview her and have him come and do like he was just at the Democratic convention. I'm like, just can we stop? Can we stop with this fucking guy? Hey, thanks for the .com boom. I know my communion money did well during that time. I appreciate the help. But if it wasn't him, it would have been somebody else. The internet was going to come when the internet was going to come. Thanks for everything you did. Now go the fuck away. Just be away. You know? And so loves him some pantsuits. Correction, blazers. Yes, a pantsuit is considered a blazer, but a blazer. Hillary Clinton is not. That is not. Also not. No. Boner killer. What are you gonna do? She looks not aging well. Neither is he. He looks like a fucking skeleton. He looks like a skeleton that's barely holding on to the skin on his skull. He looks like shit. He sounds like shit. I don't know. I just think those two are going to hell. That's just my thought. And I don't think you should broadcast it on your way. You know, I don't think you should be like, hey, it's our anniversary, everybody. Just shut the fuck up. Just don't be around. You know, just don't be around. You're just opening yourself up for criticism. And it seems crazy to me. All right, JD Vance. This is driving me up a fucking wall, too. JD Vance was asked during the election, during the debate. Can we put a timer on this? Because I can't go on this for much longer. I'm starting to lose it with the whole election. Next week, by the way, we're going to get into the polling numbers because we're in it. We're inside 3 weeks away. We'll get into the polling numbers. I would also like to know if everybody can drop in the comments for this episode if you'd like us to do something on election night. I always feel like I want to do something and then we get right up to it and I go, no, it's better that we're not there. But I feel like it's a Tuesday night. I feel like we should be there. I think it's going to be so close. I don't think we're going to have an answer at all Tuesday night. So it could be something that goes on till 2:00 in the morning. And if it's anything like last time, it'll be 5 days before we get a definitive, winner. So, a lot of people are saying yes. Only one nope so far. Yeah, I mean, it might be cool to just hang. I was thinking about this, and my wife, Cuddle, said to me, she goes, you don't have to be there for the conclusion. You could just hang with everybody for a little while. And I was like, you know what? Maybe that's the way to do it. We'll just hang. We'll pop on at 9, and we'll just hang for a little bit. And we'll see what's going on, and we'll just talk with one another for a little while, and then we'll end it when it ends. TJ Shenanigans. If I watch any coverage, it would be here. Thank you. That was nice of you. A lot of yeses. A lot of yeses, 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 yeses. Christine says, I don't think it's a good idea. Plus, Michigan said they won't count the votes in real time. Yeah, see that? I don't think we're gonna be around to determine a winner. Maybe, because, and I've been saying this, part of me feels like it might not be that close, actually. But I just don't have any of the I'm going on feeling and what my Republican friends are telling me. Whenever I run across somebody that's a Republican, I always ask them, like, hey, who are you gonna vote for? It hasn't happened a lot, and I don't really like to ask people that, but if I happen to come across a Republican, I want to ask them who they're voting for. Because I feel like there's a big sentiment of people. And it's also on the other side too. Kamala is losing, they're saying that she's losing men, that a lot of men are having, a lot of African-American men are having trouble voting for her, that she's dropping in those numbers. So much so that one of the stops, because, Obama's out there now campaigning for her like crazy. He addressed that earlier today, and he went to, I don't know what African-American male group community thing that I don't know what he was at, but he was there and he was bringing up this issue and he was talking about it. So clearly it's important enough, that they got Obama out there working on it. That fucking guy. What I wouldn't do for that caliber of class and it's class. That's the word. It's just the guy has class. You may not agree with everything. You may not be on his side politically, but the guy is just a fucking leader. He walks into a room and he's got the whole room in the palm of his hand, and he's classy, and God, I didn't know that when he left the White House, we would be losing that forever. I mean, I miss that air of leadership that, we haven't had across the board since he left. So, yeah, that was the Obama thing. But all right, put a time limit on this because I can't go on and on about this for too long. But during the vice presidential debate, they asked J.D. Vance if Donald Trump won the 2020 election, and he skirted the answer. And I thought it was a bad look for him again. Again, I am on the side of this is a bad look for the Republicans, period. Like, I think Donald Trump would be dominating right now if he pulled back 90% on his Donald Trumpness. Like, if he just let the Republican machine run the show, he would be killing Kamala Harris. If he wasn't out there name calling, if he wasn't out there with the nonstop rallies, if he wasn't out there, he is lying now like uncontrollably, like more than a regular politician lies, right? Like any Kamala's out there fibbing the truth a lot. They're all swinging the numbers and the facts to kind of, that's what politicians do. He's just out there saying things that are blatantly untrue. The whole hurricane thing and all that shit that's going on. Like, it's just like, God, just I was reading this piece from somebody, which I can remember who it was. Anyway, they were saying that whoever this election becomes about, like whoever ultimately has the spotlight in this election is going to lose, because they're both such unfavorable people that if they really gain that stronghold of, look at me, it's about me, here I am in the center of it, they're going to lose, because nobody really likes Donald Trump. And as devastating as this might be for Democrats to hear, it's the truth. She's not all that likable either. I get she's not him, and that's why you love her. I understand. But I watched her media blitz. I watched her on Call Her Daddy. I watched her on Stern. I saw a clip of her on The View. And although she's not lying as much as he is, she doesn't have, she doesn't have that panache and that class and that, she's classy. I shouldn't say she's not classy. She doesn't have that. I don't know what it is. Her voice is a little nasally. It sounds a little, I don't know what it is about her, but it's just, and I mean, Paul, I know I'm going to kill Paul here. I don't mean to kill you here, Paul, but you have to admit, she's not, I don't mind that this is my personal opinion, but it's my personal opinion, but I feel like for some reason, she's just not that likable. If she had 10% more likability, she'd be running away with this. Does anybody disagree with that? She's nice. She's certainly more likable than him. I mean, let's be honest with each other. She's way more likable than him. I mean, I feel like Republicans should be able to admit that too. She's calmer. She's more poised. Like she's way ahead of him in all those things. But there's something about her. Like she tells the stories of growing up middle class and working at McDonald's. And I'm like, yeah, that's I don't know why. It's just not, it's not having that impact that it should be having. And I sit there and I go, why isn't that the case? And I can't put my finger on it exactly, but I just don't know why she's not likable. I don't think she's stupid. I understand that she has your vote, Robin, and that's fine. I'm fine with that. Like, again, I feel like positioned herself in a better place than he has. But Krista, she's not a great speaker. There's she draws out her words and talks in like this register from time to time. And I don't know what it is about it. I'm just like, So I was reading this piece and the person was saying these two, they're not all that likable. And he's turning off, I mean, obviously his base is going to love him. The hardcore Democrats are going to vote for her, all totally fine. But you got to grab those people in the middle, and both of them really aren't. And whoever sort of gets the most attention is going to lose. I thought that was a really interesting analysis of this election, because she just went through this whole blitz, and we'll wait a week or so to see what the poll numbers are, to see if it's been turned up a bit. But we're not seeing it in the initial numbers. And if she's losing the African-American males, especially, she's got to get that back up in her corner a little bit more. There's just something going on where, remember back in the beginning when she wasn't giving the interviews and she wasn't doing all the stuff and her stock was just rising and rising and rising, and we knew it was going to level off, obviously, but I don't know if it would have part of me feels like both of these candidates would be doing so much better if they were both just not around, not campaigning. I have a feeling they would both be doing better, but I have to be fair here. He's doing far worse. I think he's doing more damage to himself than she's doing to herself. But I don't think, I don't know. I think she should be real. I think that gap should be a little bit bigger, but it's not. We'll see. We'll see. I still have a feeling, again, like I said, he's doing more damage to himself. I still think there's a lot of people that are like, fuck her, I'm voting for him, fuck her. And I still think when they go and walk in that booth, they might have a change of heart. Or they might be like, you know what, I don't know if I could actually vote for this guy this time around. You know? Trump isn't a good speaker either, but he talks like a used car salesman, so that entices some. You know, the thing with Donald Trump is he knows how to go for the low-hanging fruit. He knows how to discuss things and get to the lowest common denominator. So he's going to be really appealing to somebody who's not paying attention overall. You know, like take the tariffs example as an example. He wants to put tariffs on everything. Economists, everybody across the board understands that the importer of products are the ones who pay the tariffs. They pass that along to the consumer. So if you put tariffs on Chinese goods, it's the American people that are going to wind up paying more. Now, the theory is, well, if you put tariffs on foreign goods, they'll buy American made. But I don't know how many TVs and shit like that are being made here in America versus China. You know, so the amount of industries where you could actually make those moves and have them work is probably a lot more limited than people think. So this idea of I'm just going to tariff the shit out of everybody is not exactly the answer that we really need. And most economists agree on that. But you hear it in a soundbite and it's like, yeah, like China pay more. Yeah, fuck yeah. And that's where Donald Trump gets his power. I don't want to say he gets his power from the lesser educated, but it's definitely from the lesser informed, because the more you look into these things that he's proposing, there's some validity to them. If you drill more, energy costs will go down. Okay, makes sense. We happen to be drilling the most that we ever have been right now. You know, so there's problems with all these. It's just not on the surface layer, and Donald Trump runs on the surface. And his followers like being on the surface too. They don't want to read long articles. They don't want to watch hour-and-a-half long documentaries. They don't really want to get down to the nitty-gritty of it. They want that, oh, he's going to do something. It was better back then, wasn't it? Okay, he's got my vote. That's where he wants to be. That's where his power comes from. You know, that's where his power comes from. But again, let's go. Sorry. Still fighting this whole thing. Let's go back to JD Vance, because I feel like one of the more damaging things that this campaign, the Trump campaign, has done is deny this fucking election in 2020. And JD Vance keeps wanting to swing it towards the future. And he does bring up one valid point, which I'll dive into. So let's all be patient and get to the whole thing together. But the fact that he just can't put a simple fucking answer to a simple question drives me up a wall. And it makes me feel like, again, by doing this, you're going to lose more votes. To be in denial for 4 years that something happened, to produce no evidence, to have nothing factual come about, to have Republicans and Democrats agree unanimously across the board that he lost that election, and to still be out there pretending like you didn't. I can't trust you in the White House, you know? And his answers are scary. And honestly, they should scare Republicans too. And I understand that we are in a trench warfare era of this country where no matter what you say to me, I'm not changing my fucking mind. I understand we're there. But I mean, you really have to think to yourself, is this the type of man? How much better would it be if they were like, you know what? Trump had a great presidency, but he mishandled COVID or whatever. COVID happened and the country wanted to change, and that was it. And you know what? We're going to get back on track now. Yeah, he lost the election. We're going to get back on track now, and we're going to get back to the work that he was doing prior to COVID. If that was their approach, I think they would be doing so much better. So much better. But they can't let this fucking shit go because his ego is too fucking thick. And now we're in this world where another human being has to sit there and make excuses for this election that was clearly lost and pretend like it wasn't. And I'm sorry, but I struggle to take you seriously. Well, the couch fucking makes me hard to take seriously to begin with, but I can't take you seriously if you can't come to terms with the reality, which is that you lost. And you lost because you didn't handle the pandemic well. I don't know if anybody else would have. It's Monday morning quarterbacking to say that anybody else would have handled it better. I would like to think people would have handled it better. I would like to think people would have been a little bit ahead of it. There are certainly things, him eliminating some of the agencies that keep their eye on this stuff. There's certainly things there that he was clearly responsible for. You know, not acting fast enough to close off travel from China when it was exploding there, not acting fast enough to close off travel from Italy when it was exploding there. You know, all that stuff came way too late. Yeah, he was criticized for the media afterwards, and he was called a racist afterwards. They were wrong for that. But the media can be wrong. The president has got to try and get it right most of the time. But just say it was the pandemic. It's unfortunate. I did the best I could. I don't know if anybody would have survived that. I got ousted. I'm back. I'm coming back to finish the job I did. Just say you lost. You would be in such a better place than this whole thing of pretending to fucking be, that you got ripped off. Anyway, JD Vance sat down.
In the debate, you were asked to clarify if you believe Trump lost the 2020 election. Do you believe he lost the 2020 election?
I think that Donald Trump and I have both raised a number of issues with the 2020 election, but we're focused on the future.
Okay. So that's his stock answer. So and we're going to go through more of this, but the answer is yes, he did. That's it. Once you try and pivot, and credit the interviewer here and then again, thanks to the New York Times TikTok for the clip here. Credit the interviewer. What's her name? Anna Lulu Garcia Navarro. What a fucking great name. Lulu. What's your name? Lulu Garcia Navarro. As somebody who has name envy, that's a fucking great name. Nobody knows my last name because it's fucking terrible. It's awful. Fucking name is Lulu Garcia Navarro. God damn, that's good. LGN. Let's call up LGN, see what she's doing tonight. Go out on the town. Lulu Garcia Navarro is going to press him on this as she should. Here, let's pick it up.
There's an obsession here with focusing on 2020. I'm much more worried about what happened after 2020.
And then he goes, there's an obsession here. Well, there's an obsession because it's fucking absurd that a grown man can't come to the terms with the fact that he lost something. That's why there's a growing obsession. It's like when you ask your kid if they did the bad thing and they keep saying no, you don't just let it go. You keep bringing it up until they be like, okay, I did it. Right? I mean, we're dealing with a child here.
Which is a wide open border, groceries that are unaffordable. And look,
Senator,
Lulu,
yes or no?
I love what she does there. I get it. He's trying to pivot. He's doing his job as a politician. I can't answer that because it's bad for me. Let me pivot. Right? That's what politicians do. Not Lulu Garcia Navarro. She's not going to let that shit happen. She goes, Senator, yes or no?
Did Donald Trump lose the 2020 election?
let me ask you a question. Is it okay that big technology companies censored the Hunter Biden laptop story, which independent analysis have said it cost Donald Trump millions of votes?
Senator Vance, I'm going to ask you again. Did Donald Trump lose the 2020 election?
Did big technology companies censor a story that independent studies have suggested would have cost Trump millions of votes?
Senator
I think that's
Vance,
the question.
I'm going to ask you again. Did Donald Trump lose the 2020
And I've answered
election?
your question with another question. You answer my question and I'll answer yours.
So it's an interesting point that he brings up. Did the media and the social media companies get the Hunter Biden laptop story wrong? Yes. Was it a problem? Yes. Would it have swung the election? This man's opinion is no, it would not have. If we found out that if we found out all the Hunter Biden stuff, wouldn't have changed anything. Hunter Biden being a piece of shit doesn't change the fact that people went through the pandemic. They saw they saw Donald Trump's leadership, and they just felt like we need a change. Donald Trump couldn't have survived that election. He wouldn't have survived that pandemic. Like I said, I don't know if other people would have. And Hunter Biden being naked with hookers doing blow would have no impact whatsoever on his father being elected. I mean, that's the truth. That's how I feel. You'll never convince me otherwise. Is it a scandal? Yes. Is it worse than grabbing by the pussy? I don't think so. I mean, we've proven that scandals, they don't really matter that much anymore. Right? Everybody talks about the October surprise. Is this the October surprise? Well, every October, there's some big surprise that's supposed to turn an election on its side. Grabbed by the pussy didn't. You know, we didn't have, there was no, you know, whatever there. And the thing is, listen, was it shady? Yes. The people who are all the, you know, information experts saying that this was Russian disinformation, was that bad? That was very bad. But when you have those officials coming out and saying this is disinformation, when you're monitoring all sorts of disinformation coming out, you really don't have much of a choice if you're the media or social media. Like, I understand them killing that story because how do you know it's true or not? It would have taken a little bit of time to vet that. And by the time it came out and where the election was at, it wouldn't have made a difference anyway. Now, if they would have had 3, 4 months, 5 months, and then they still kill the story, then I think you can crush social media. Then you can have a problem with Zuckerberg and everything else. But the way that came about, it was hard to tell. I remember because we were on the air at the time. It's like, I don't know. This is what people are saying. How can you verify? I don't know. I don't have it. I don't have the fucking laptop. I don't have the information. I don't know what it is. If Giuliani had it, which he said he did, which I still don't believe he did, why didn't he put it out everywhere? Oh, we can't get it out. Nobody'll publish it. Go to GoDaddy, buy a website, hunterbidensapieceofshit.com, and put it out your goddamn self. Show people it's not Russian disinformation. Here's his laptop. Here's the story. Here's how it happened. Why didn't they do that? Why? Why didn't they do that? If it was that important to the Trump campaign, why didn't they take bigger action to push that story across? Why didn't they release the laptop? Why didn't they put all that stuff out there? They said they had it. If you really think that would have made a difference. Look, does JD have an argument? He's got a little argument. But even if we were to say JD Vance is 100% correct here, that Hunter Biden laptop would have made a difference, I still feel the difference it would have made would not have given Trump the election. He still would have lost. If we found out that Joe Biden's son is a gigantic piece of shit before the 2020 election, people are walking in that booth and they're still voting for Joe Biden because it's just not Trump. And when you go through a pandemic the way we all did, again, even a president who handled it perfectly would have lost because the mood of the country changes. Sometimes the country just needs a change. And that was the case, right? It's like a sports team. Sometimes you fire the coach. Is it a bad coach? No, but you fire the coach because you hope maybe this will change something. Something will change. That's exactly what the country did. The country said, it's time for a coaching change. Is it going to make a difference? I don't know. Is Joe Biden better than Donald Trump? I don't know. Do we have to change something because we just got to change something because things are so shitty? Yes. So that's, my feeling on that. And the fact that we're still here in 2024 talking about this is fucking crazy. Just say you lost. You don't even have to admit you bungled the pandemic. You don't have to say that. You could frame that. You can lie about that and say, yeah, it happened. But we're here to finish the job we started back in 2016. That's it. That's it. That would be if I had to give political advice, that would be the advice. But instead, these idiots are still out there going, well, the fucking laptop, just say you lost.
I have asked this question repeatedly. It is something that is very important for the American people to know. There is no proof, legal or otherwise, that Donald Trump did not lose the 2020 election.
You're repeating a slogan rather than engaging with what I'm saying.
It was at that moment that I threw my phone against the wall. You're repeating a slogan? That's not a slogan. That's the truth. That's what happened. Again, I hate that we're in an era where it's like, well, I have my truth and you have yours. No. Who was the one, Kellyanne Conway, that said alternative facts? Boy, when those words left her lips, I had no idea that we would be entering the world that we were, with. See, I got Paul hot and bothered. That's not what I wanted to do. Paul, I'm just saying that's what, if I'm going to advise a campaign, my advice to the Trump campaign would be, say you lost and say that you're coming back to finish what you started in 2016. I'm not saying he was great and wonderful. I'm not advocating for him. I am not, what's the word? Backing him. I'm not doing any of that. I'm just saying if I'm in that room and they're asking your old pal Ant for the political advice, I would say, stop denying the loss and say that the pandemic interrupted the great job we were doing, and now we're coming back to finish it. That's all. That's all I'm saying. That is all I'm saying. Putting my own personal feelings and thoughts on everything aside, if I'm just advising from a political standpoint, that's what I'm telling Trump to do. Just say you lost. It ends the questions. It stops the story. It doesn't make you look like a fucking asshole. And it gets you back on track to say what you're trying to accomplish. Because people are harping on this now, and rightfully so, because it's fucking ridiculous that him and J.D. Vance can't admit that he fucking lost. Because it's ego.
Which is that when our own technology firms engage in industrial scale censorship, by the way, backed up by the federal government in a way that independent studies suggest affect the votes, I'm worried about Americans who feel like there were problems in 2020. I'm not worried about this slogan that people throw. Well, every court case went this way. I'm talking about something very discrete, a problem of censorship in this country that I do think affected things in 2020, and more importantly, that led to Kamala Harris's governance, which has screwed this country up in a big way.
Senator, would you have certified the election in 2020? Yes or no?
I've said that I would have voted against.
This was the scariest part. This is the fucking scariest part. If you thought the other stuff we were just talking about was scary, this is the fucking scariest part. She goes, would you have certified the election?
I've said that I would have voted against certification because of the concern that I just raised. I think that when you have technology companies—
The answer is no.
When you have technology companies censoring Americans at a mass scale in a way that, again, independent studies have suggested affect the vote, I think that it's right to protest against that, to criticize that, and that's a totally reasonable thing. That's
not reasonable. That's not reasonable, because even if you had something that swayed people's opinions, they still went in the booth and they still voted. This idea that you can predict what people would have done if a story would have changed prior to them going into the ballot is a fucking absurd. That's basically what he's saying. He's saying this is such a big story and people didn't have a chance to make a decision, so they went in and they made the wrong vote. How do you fucking know that? How do you know how all those people would have voted? And you're so sure that this would have made a change, that you would have stopped the certification of the election based off of this? What's your answer then? Not to say that Lulu doesn't do a good job here. I think she's fantastic. I love the fucking glasses and the weird pirate shirt. I don't want to be a pirate. She wants to be a pirate. She's got the thing, the fucking great name. She's doing a bang up job. Good for her. But I would have taken this line of questioning to the next level. Okay, you don't want to certify it. What happens next? Let me know where you are constitutionally when you don't certify an election and you have to get out of the White House by the 20th of January. Where does that leave us as a country? Are you going to switch electors then? You're saying that your electors are better than the other electors that were in there when the vote was taken? Are we going to have a new election? Are you going to bring everybody back are you going to have everything restart all over again? I mean, what's your answer to that? I can't even speculate on what he would possibly say because he clearly isn't even thinking about this. If you don't certify as the vice president of the United States of America, then you better have a fucking plan for what you're going to do next, because then it's total anarchy. Then it's total losslessness. I don't know what happens there. I wouldn't have certified it. Why? Because you think you know what people would vote for if this little bit of information came out and changed? Holy shit. You've got to be kidding me. This is a whole new level of stupidity and dangerousness that I don't know if anybody's really talking about this yet. I don't even know, because I think this came out today. When did this come out? Yeah, 9 hours ago. This interview was 9 hours ago. For him to sit there and feel great about giving an answer like I wouldn't have certified, then what? Then what would you have done? What would you have done after that? Where do you go from there? I mean, you know, it's weird. We got into this a little bit in 2000 with Gore and Bush, where they were like, well, the intention of the vote. Well, you can't assume the intention of the vote. You know, we started to get into those weird kind of crazy areas. Remember the dimple chat and all that kind of stuff? I mean, I feel like if you dimpled the chat, if you pressed in, you did intend to vote, they will end up throwing a lot of those votes out because they're like, you can't tell the intention of a voter unless they actually make a vote. He's basically saying they wouldn't have voted that way if they would have known the Hunter Biden laptop story was true. That's why I wouldn't have certified the election. Do you know how dangerous and stupid that is? Because you're making a huge leap that would have made that much of a difference towards your guy. That's not anybody that I want in running the government. I'm sorry. That's scary. That scares me a little bit. I mean, it should scare you, even if you are a Republican, even if you plan on voting for the Vance Trump ticket, which the ball's on Kennedy, by the way. Robert F. Kennedy Jr., I don't know about you, but I see a lot of, because usually it's the president and the vice president. I'm seeing a lot of lawn signs that are Trump, Vance, Kennedy. And Kennedy's name is bigger than Vance. This has got more letters, but still, it's kind of like a bigger. I'm like, this. They really think the Kennedy thing is going to move the numbers this much. It's a little surprising to me. Anyway, that's an aside. But that's scary. That's scary. You shouldn't go out in interviews and say that you wouldn't have certified if you don't have a full-on plan fleshed out to what the fuck you would have done next. You know?
So the answer is no. And the last question, will you support the election results this time and commit to a peaceful transfer of power?
Well, first of all, of course, we commit to a peaceful transfer of power. We are going to have a peaceful transfer of power. I, of course, believe that peaceful transfer of power is going to make Donald Trump the next president of the United States. But if there are problems, of course, in the same way that Democrats protested in 2004 and Donald Trump raised issues in 2020, we're going to make sure that this election counts, that every legal ballot is counted. We've filed almost 100 lawsuits at the RNC to try to ensure that every legal ballot has counted. I think you would maybe criticize that. We see that as an important effort to ensure election integrity, but certainly we're going to respect the results in 2024, and I feel very confident they're going to make Donald Trump the next president.
Yeah. I'm not so confident in any of it. And his answers scare me. His answers are not great. Not great answers. Not great answers at all. Oh, Lindarella, bless your heart. You have integrity. We're lacking a bit of integrity from this whole process, don't you think? A little bit. I'd like a little more integrity. I'd like to turn up the integrity meter a smidgen. Get that going again for everybody, which is nice. Rhonda, he's a good bullshitter. I tell you what, the guy, JD Vance is a politician, man. He's got it. He's got that natural politician. He's taken to it very, very well. You know, I would say he's the best politician out of the four of them. Trump, Kamala, Tim, JD. If you ask me who's the biggest politician, who's the most politician-y, it's JD. He knows how to do it. You know, I mean, he basically said that the president of the United States was a shithead, and now he's on his ticket. And it's like they glossed right over that without issue. And that's not even a problem anymore. And that's a politician who could finagle his way through that. You know, that's really a politician who could make that kind of shit happen. But that answer. I don't know, man. It's not a good answer. It's not a good answer. Elon says everybody wants a robot as a friend. Yes. So Elon, during a big event, he revealed a robo-van, a robot car, like a car that drives itself, a two-seater, a full van that could take a whole bunch of people around, and these full-on Elon robots. And the whole thing was kind of nutty. Again, it was one of those like peeks into the future of, you know, here's what the world could be like if we get AI going and you get the robots going and the whole 9 yards. Optimus is what he's calling the robots, and they were just running around doing their whole thing. I saw this one clip. Man, let me bring this up for everybody. I saw this one clip from this dude, and he was talking to the robot, and the robot was talking back to him, and the conversation was like, holy shit. Again, it was one of those moments where the future comes and smacks you right in the face and lets you know it is here and now. Here we go. All right, let's go to this clip here.
Optimus. It's insane. It's even talking. Hi to my friend John. John? Where's John? Right here. Oh, hello, John. How are you? How are you doing? That's crazy. I'm talking to a robot. From San Jose. Probably from where you were born in Silicon Valley.
Wonderful. Where do you live in San Jose? Do you live in Almond Valley, or do you live in Santa Teresa area?
No, I live in Los Gatos.
Los Gatos. Oh, wonderful. Very
Yeah.
Nice area.
Where do you live?
Beautiful hiking I hear out there.
There is. Where do you live?
I live in Palo Alto at the current moment.
Figures.
That was one hell of a conversation happening between a man and a robot, just kind of standing there. You know, that is scary. And I will say, out of all, like, this is what I started thinking about too. Out of all the people that I want to be in charge of the robots that eventually wind up taking over the world, Elon's just not atop my list anymore. It's scary that Elon's going to be controlling these things. You know what I'm saying? Just seeing how shitty he's run fucking TikTok, Twitter into the ground, I am a little worried about what he's going to program these robots to be doing. But I mean, these things were walking around. People, there's tons of videos of people interacting with them, people playing rock, scissors, papers. Look at the way this thing is pointing. Like, I remember the first time I saw Boston. Remember the Boston Robotics? What do they call it? Boston Robots or whatever that company is. The first time I saw some of their robots moving around, I was like, holy shit. But now look at these things and how fluid they are. I mean, this is crazy. This is absolutely crazy to see. Listen, I'm with you. I think that this is all potentially quite dangerous. But I would risk the world being taken over if I can get a robot to go shopping for me. I'm not going to lie to you. I got 2 kids. my house is in a constant state of. I don't know. Since my son was born. Let me phrase this the right way. Since my son was 3, I don't think my house has ever been 100% clean. Like I don't think the way our house was pre-kids, like you could see the floor. Everything was like clean. There wasn't fingerprint. You know what I'm saying? It was it was just paradise. It was clean. It was cleanliness as far as the eye could see. I haven't had that in over 6 years. Yeah, I've had this part of the house get cleaned, and then that part of the house get cleaned, and then this part gets trashed, and then we clean that part, and then we got to go back to the other, And it's like, if I can get a fucking robot in here with some Windex, just pick up the toys and put them in the toy box. I don't know. If you told me, we'll give you a robot ant, there's a 50% chance it might wind up killing you one day. But until that day comes, he will keep your house clean. It'll cook dinner for you. It'll give you time to go out. You and your wife can go out. It'll watch the kids, make sure the kids don't burn the house down. It'll go to the store. You don't have to go to the store. You get hungry late at night, it'll get in the car, it'll go to the store for you. You won't have to pay for Uber Eats anymore. It'll go to the store. It'll get your Taco Bell for you late at night. There's a 50% chance it'll kill you one day. I'd be like, can I get 2? Sign me the fuck up. Sign me up. If that drops to 40%, I'll celebrate. If it goes up to 60, I still might take the chance. I would just like a clean house and a fucking chalupa at 11 o'clock at night. Is that too much to ask for? I mean, maybe it is. This is so fucking loud. That's the robot bus pulling up. I don't know if you guys go there. It was a little better. There's a robot bus pulling up. A shit ton of people got. I mean, I'll tell you this about Elon. He makes shit look cool. Like he knows how to make. This is the Tesla car that's just going to take people around. And he was saying, he's saying people can make this a business. You could buy one of these. It'll drive people around, and you could make it your Uber. So I'm sure there's going to be a bunch of people that do that. But you know what's scary? There's not a pedal or a steering wheel in that thing. I like a little manual override in all my technology there. Putting a lot of faith in this stuff. Oh, here's the robot bartending. Fucking robot is pulling a tap down and pouring a beer. I mean,
Yeah, for sure. Let's do it. Little video.
And then recognizes that the guy in front of him is taking a picture and poses, puts the peace sign up to pose for a photograph. Here's a closer look at the inside of the car. Yeah, there you go. See, no steering wheel, no pedals, no nothing. You're just sitting there. Thanks to Curious Boy at Curious_Boy10 for the clips here. Appreciate that as always, so that we can put some commentary on it. I appreciate your clips online. Isn't that weird? What do you guys think of that? Isn't that a little scary? It's a little scary. It's a little exciting. I wish Elon wasn't a part of it. I mean, the future's here. Like I keep saying this, and I believe it to be true. My kids are 7 and 9. They're going to grow up in a different world, man. Their 20s are going to be unrecognizable to what our 20s were and 30s, I mean, just think about how much a robot, the in-house robot will be the greatest technological revelation. You could put it right up there with the Industrial Revolution and, again, the .com era and all that stuff. It will have such an impact. Because, again, imagine your life. How much time do you spend cleaning up your house, cleaning the bathroom, taking the garbage out, cooking yourself dinner, going to the store? Think about the amount of hours you spend just to exist. You go to work, and then you got to spend another hour at the supermarket getting food for the week, and then you got to spend another 45 minutes cooking it. And this is just to keep you alive. you know, and then you clean the bathroom and you clean the garage out. And could you imagine never having to worry about that stuff ever again? You know, I think economically it'll eliminate a lot of jobs, but at the same time, like, I'm going to the movies a lot more. I am going to read a lot more books. You know, I'm going to purchase art. Like, I'm going to do all the things that I can't do right now because I'm fucking clean. You know, I'm changing the filters in the house, you know, and shit, like all this stuff that just keeps us bogged down. You buy a house, you're just throwing away, you know, 10 hours a week of your life. Every week, 10 hours, you buy a house. You know, everything, some things need to be fucking painted and tacked back on and, you know, cut. And, you know, it's always DJ Shenanigans. A drop in divorce rates, 1,000,000%. 1,000,000%. Think about how much animosity comes in a relationship from this fucking asshole won't do the dishes. This fucking, you know, this guy won't clean up after himself. You know, this woman won't hold up her end of the bargain in the partnership. That would all be gone. It'd be gone. You know. I don't know if there's any holes in the robot. It's a good question. It's a good question. How much time will it take managing the robot? Also a good question. Rhonda, I need that shutoff switch. Excellent point. Look, I'm not saying we don't have some issues here. I'm not saying there's not some things to cross off the list, but, you know, feels like it's coming soon, and it feels like it's going to have a massive change on our culture. Massive, massive change. My friends, that has been a week. Next week, you know what? We'll do it again 3 more times. That I can assure you. Look out for next Friday. We're going to do our halfway to 420 day. Friday the 18th. We'll put some promos out to remind everybody, get your favorite whatever, cocktail, gummy, bowl. I can't encourage you to do any other drugs that aren't legal. I mean, you can do whatever the fuck you want, but I can't encourage it. And let's all take part, and we'll fucking kick back, and we'll have some really deep conversations. By the way, did you see on, go to my Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, we had the Northern Lights here in New York. It was amazing. It was amazing. And I don't want to talk about it on this episode because I want to save it for the 18th. That's the halfway to 420 day coming up right here 1 week from today. Lindarella, bless your heart for gifting an on-air membership. So whoever signs up for that next is going to get that. If you haven't re-upped in a while, or you've been thinking about joining in a while, jump over to the link in the description below right now and get in there as soon as you can, because Lindarella just picked up the tab. Bless your heart, Lindarella. We'll leave Bird with the last word. Appreciate you all. We'll see you on Monday.
Show me potato salad. Maybe we should go now.